Hey folks, here for the secret sauce, and today it is all about staying inspired in embroidery. For those of you looking for inspiration on how to expand your skills or refine your current embroidery work, there's five exercises I'm going to recommend that might be helpful in refining your goals and getting some actionable steps. Now, first one is swatch testing. You should create a file that methodically tests one setting in your digitized files so you can see how that variable affects designs. Run multiple swatches of a stitch type, let's say tatami fill, with one variable like density altered from swatch to swatch, so you can see the effect of the said variable at work. Common swatch tests like density examinations that you've seen, but do underlay type tests, fill pattern tests, and compensation tests too. If you've ever been curious about what a setting or a slider or a number does in your software, make a few swatches, change that number, and get it on the machine. There's nothing like that experience to teach you exactly what's going on. Other things that I'd like to talk about also, I think we should talk about materials. If you aren't really clear on how materials work or materials affect your embroidery, get those under the machine. Material mastery. To learn what needs to be done for designs to compensate for these differences in fabrics, grab this well-known digitized design, something you have that you know runs well on a material you're used to, and run the same design in the same colors on multiple fabrics that are common in your shop. Measure elements in your digital design and see how they have changed in those stitch outs. Analyze that stuff. By measuring those items in thread and taking notes, you'll increasingly be able to adjust designs for any texture or thickness or stretch. Next example, redefine relationships. And what I mean here is relationships between different stitch types and settings when they're adjacent, when two objects run into each other. That interaction is something we actually kind of plan for, and it makes our digitizing better. Think of the most common three stitch types and explore how they interact with each other and how the parameters of each stitch type can affect the outcome of the design. The three types, fill or tatami stitch, a satin stitch or running stitch, we can examine the intersection of bringing those steps together. How does a fill look next to or touching another fill? Does it come together or blend because the stitch angles are the same, or can we offset those angles to stop that blending from happening? What happens if we change that angle? Practice simple combinations like a satin stitch element with straight stitch outlines, a fill with a satin border, overlap satin stitches that fill an area. When you can master pull and push distortion, you can understand those interactions between the basic pairs, the fill, 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 satin, satin, and running, running. You'll have tremendous control over the most simple and basic building block elements of your designs and be able to build more complex designs from that understanding and control. The next thing I recommend heavily, self directed projects. This is something that we should all be doing. And certainly, I feel like I want to do a little bit more myself this year. Create something for yourself, but with an eye towards skill building and goals. A great version of this is to create a piece that is useful for demonstrating a decoration type, maybe something new that you're trying to do. You're trying to do foam, you're trying to do gradients, you're trying to work on some specialty embroidery you haven't done before, or using a new thread. Do a piece for yourself that shows that material or that design scheme or that type to them, featuring art or themes that you enjoy. As you are the client for this work, the pressure on this learning experience is lessened by the fact that you're the ultimate judge of what works and how it looks good. You're looking to add patches to your offering, but people haven't ordered that yet. Make an awesome patch for shop merch and show that within the styles your customer is likely to order. Want to try a new thread material technique? Look up instructions, buy sample material, and try it out on a self directed project that matches the type of stitching you want to achieve. And last but not least, analysis, reproduction, and remixing. Take a piece of embroidery or digitized design that you love and tear it apart, learn how it works. This may even include physically breaking down a retail embroidered piece. I have taken a razor blade to a very nice, very new piece of embroidery to look at what the underlay looked like or what materials were used in order to support that embroidery. Look at how long stitches are, what angle they are laid down, what materials it uses, and how they are employed. If you have a design file, look at the settings the creator used by measuring stitch angle, length, and density of stitch blocks, as well as looking at the overlaps and the underlay style. Analyze and take notes, then reproduce the design as close as you can to see if you have the settings right. Once you've replicated this known design and the elements you're interested, pick something about the design or the style that you love and alter it. Take what you've learned in the settings and use it on an entirely new design in the style of the original, and then you will really master the techniques. All in all, this is really about getting yourself into the habit of experimentation. And whether that's with self directed projects, with analyzing and copying something, or with tearing something apart to see how it works, really what I would recommend to everybody is to, once again, kind of like Aaron talked about earlier in this show, let go a little bit of those results and get out there and test, take some action, and get things on the machine. There is nothing like seeing things in the thread. to make it work. So, with that, that is my last secret sauce.